The snow coming down and expected to cover roadways. Road crews are out working hard right now.
Yeah, we're going to bring a live interview in now. This is Steve Roan with the Kent County Road Commission. Steve, we've spoken with you many times so far this season. A lot of the snow we've seen so far, lake effect snow. You guys have talked to us about how salt sort of changes depending on what you guys are doing. This storm specifically, can you kind of walk us through the process for those crews that are out on the roads right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, we had some pretty good information that this storm was going to come, and like we just heard, maybe it stalled a little bit. But as it's gotten here right around this rush hour, it's definitely made the roads slippery and less than ideal. We're out there treating them as we can, but as traffic picks up and just generally congests the area, it slows traffic, it slows our response, but we're trying to get through the network, these highways, state trunk lines first, and we'll work our way through the system as the snow progresses.
And Steve, I want to ask about kind of the rotation of crews being out. I know every person out there is like, I want my street plowed right now, but that's not the case. Talk about like what we can expect when we could see road crews. What does that rotation look like?
Yeah, so we have about 90 plus or minus men and women that work throughout the day, generally split a little bit on the start between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. and then we'll work for 12 hours to either 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. And then they turn it over to a night crew of about 40 plus men and women that'll work overnight, and they'll really work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And we're targeting those most heavily traveled, highest speed roads first. So we're really working with the state network and our primary roads, those multi-lane primaries like a West River, 10 Mile, 76th Street, those types of roads.
And Steve, we heard from one of our reporters a couple of minutes ago just talking about giving those plows plenty of space, moving over if we're seeing vehicles with flashing lights on the side of the road. Obviously, that's the law here in Michigan. But from your perspective, you have crews out there right now that are living in that situation. Can you just talk a little bit about how important keeping those things in mind is right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that. I mean, our trucks are rather large. They have large blind spots, and our men and women are out there creating many times large snowstorms. When they plow snow, it picks it up behind them and creates blind spots and really whiteout conditions around the truck. So giving yourself room not only allows our drivers, our men and women, to see the vehicle, especially if it's driving with its headlights on, we can see them. And then staying back allows that motorist to then see us and adjust to our maneuvers. Many times we'll have to do maybe a quick lane change or a quick exit. And those types of things, staying back the 200 foot plus is giving you room and us room to see and you to adjust to that.
And Steve, I wanted to ask about the timing that we're seeing this snow. Sometimes when it snows overnight, there's not a lot of cars out there, but this is happening during the day. How does that impact crews getting the job done?
Yeah, that really is a real part of this. As everyone heads home for the evening from work or they're heading out to evening events, that congestion picks up and really slows speeds even on great weather days where the roads are optimum speeds, maybe at posted speed limits. On a day-to-day where they're less than posted, less than ideal, cars slow down, and we appreciate that. And I think that's good for everyone to slow down and drive for conditions. But as that occurs, our men and women then have to slow down and drive with traffic conditions. So our response is slowed. So is first responders, police, tow trucks. So everyone's response time is slowed during these events. So everything just takes more time. So we encourage all the men and women out there that have to go to and from to give themselves more time, less distractions, and arrive safe and on time.
And Steve, one more for you before we let you go. We know you're a busy man. As far as we've talked in the last couple of weeks, when temperatures have dropped, how salt becomes less effective. Obviously, right now we're kind of in the middle. We're not right at freezing, but we're not super cold like we were a few weeks ago. What's sort of the solution, the concoction that you guys are using between salt and sand right now to keep those roads as drivable as possible?
Yeah, great question. We're really using a balance of both, half abrasives or sand and half granular salt, rock salt. We've got that blended together, and we're really doing that two parts. The temperatures are where we can make salt work, but as we've got unexpected snowfall amounts that go up and down, a lot of that salt would get covered by that snowfall. So we're preparing for that and providing some traction and some grit with that sand, and we'll continue to monitor the storm, and we'll be out there through this and get ourselves to the back end of this.
All right, Steve, we so appreciate your time and all of that valuable information. We will continue to remind folks, keep that space with the plows, the trucks on the side of the road. You guys are just trying to do your job. So thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.